Recruiter here to review your resumes. The resume you have up first is garbage, and I know that because they told me their ratio. So there is a good rule of thumb if you want to know how to tell if your resume is good or garbage, and that is your ratio. And the ratio is how many applications it takes to get an interview. If it takes you 50 applications to get one interview, that's actually good. It's a C- equivalent, but it's not bad. It works. And anything lower than 1 to 50 applications is better. When people follow my advice, they typically get one interview per 7 applications. But this person, it takes them over 150 applications to get a single interview. And if you are sending over 150 applications to get a single interview, your resume is garbage. And that is what this one is. So what are we looking at? We are looking at a full stack software engineer, and I do more than tech. I do accountants, HR, mechanics, customer service, but the tech market is in shambles, and right now like 90% of the resumes that are sent to me in tech. So yeah, I do more than tech, but not a ton of them because you all are only tech. What do we need for a full stack? We need degree, TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, RESTful APIs or REST APIs, TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, something on the back end, Python, C#, .NET, or Java, TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. I don't care how basic it is. I don't care how easy it is. I don't care if you think the technical person will not like it. You are wrong. You need to put, for a full stack, TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. That needs to be in almost the very first bullet point. If it is not in the very first bullet point of TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, look at me, TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, you are going to get rejected. I don't care how basic it is a requirement of almost every single job posting. And you don't get to decide what is and is not important in hiring. You only get to decide how you show that you are qualified based on what they want. Then I need React, React.js, Angular, Node.js, Vue.js. I don't need all of those, but just like 2 or 3. DevOps, CI/CD, Agile, Git, and then a extra credit for the scale of your work. And I mean that in like the number of users. That's it. That's the only number that should be there. AI tools and cross-functional. So recruiters only have 20 seconds to find what we need. Will I be able to find that in 20 seconds? No, not at all. Because this is a garbage resume that gets over 150 applications to an interview. I'm expecting it to be filled with hot dogs and no hamburgers. So yeah, let's see what we can find and go. Okay, formatting is atrocious. Build to containerized, I don't care about that. Go, doesn't really matter. Postgres doesn't matter for jobs, queue, async. AWS does, but specifically not because you put that. PostgreSQL, I'm actually looking for. This doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. GitHub Actions can matter. CI/CD and time. Yeah, so I need 75% of these in the 20 seconds to move you forward, and I did not see any of those because this person had keywords and not qualifications and too many hot dogs. So I'm going to explain those. First up, hot dogs. Imagine you're hungry, you go to a restaurant, you say, I would like 1 cheeseburger, please. And the waiter looks at you because you said it weird, and they're like, all right, 1 cheeseburger. So they go back and they bring you 3 hot dogs with cheese. And they say, here is your cheeseburger. And you go like, no, this is a hot dog. What? I wanted a cheeseburger. This is a hot dog. And they say, no. A hot dog has meat like a hamburger. A hot dog can't have cheese like a hamburger. And a hot dog does have buns just like a hamburger. So when you said you wanted a cheeseburger, what you actually meant were these 3 hot dogs with cheese. You would look at them like they were insane and you would walk away without paying because they are gaslighting you. And that is the exact same problem they have over here. Containerized, hot dog. Go worker, hot dog. Postgres, hot dog. It is adjacent to what I want, but it is not what I want. And your next thing is, well, hold on, Lee, you're just keyword hunting. Why are you all recruiters keyword hunting? And we're not keyword hunting. We are qualification hunting, which is why this right here does not count despite having most of what I need. So the difference between a keyword, which is what the hiring team needs, this is it. This is what a keyword is. It's what the hiring team wants, is between a keyword and a qualification is a qualification is a keyword plus how you used it, plus where you used it, plus the business reasons you used it. If it is not the what, the how, the business reasons, and the where, it does not count as a qualification, with the exception of years of experience and your degree, because that's fine. That's a little different. So when they put this stuff up here, TypeScript, PostgreSQL, AWS, Docker, Terraform, GitHub Actions, it doesn't count because it does not tell me it doesn't tell me how they did it, and it does not tell me the business reasons they did it. Same with this. Built a hot dog, AWS, hot dog, far great moving, long-running Gemini jobs off the request pass and keeping the web responsive. See, this actually is a good qualification. This is a good way to describe a non-technical business reason, right? Is keeping the web app responsive to users, right? Making sure there's no errors with it, making sure glitches don't happen. That is a good way to describe that. The problem is the rest of this is filled with hot dogs. And you actually ruined it because you put AWS, ECS, and Fargate. So I know what you're thinking. You're saying AWS and ECS, why does that matter? That shows in advance. Well, no, because one of the things that tech recruiters learn early is that Java is different than JavaScript. And everybody else is like, well, duh. But Java is different than JavaScript. Thus, AWS might be different than AWS ECS. That is why you need to be very specific with the words you use. And you don't want to put ECS. You want to put AWS. Now, data engineers and cloud engineers are going to want those EC2s and that kind of stuff. And whatever the equivalent for that is Azure and GCP, which I don't know off the top of my head. But for a full stack, you don't want to put that because that actually just makes it seem like you don't know what you know. So the reason this person is getting no interviews is A, they're formatting, which you should use this formatting. The link is below. This is how you do it. It's the best format for almost every single type of resume with two exceptions. High level managers. We're talking directors with like 25 plus years experience and people that are job hoppers. There's another format that I can tell you on my Discord, but which if you want, you can join in the link below. But otherwise, you don't want that. But if it's not those two things, then you want this. So, but the problem I have with this is A, the formatting is awful, and B, I just don't see what I need. The only things I see are AWS, which again, you wrote the good business reasons why, but I need 75% of this, and each bullet point needs to contain a minimum of 3 keywords, a maximum of 6. And this only has 1 keyword. This has 1 keyword, but you did not explain the qualifications correctly. So this one doesn't actually count. Then you have this, which could have 2, right? CI/CD and GitHub Actions. Those could be it. And I will say GitHub and Git Actions, I actually do need to change. It should be Git and GitHub. Those are equivalent. That is something that is actually okay. So there's only 2 here. And actually, this is another good way of describing it. I like how you described it. Normally, people mess up on the making it a non-business reason. And this actually shows a good business reason. I just need more. Also, nobody cares about your numbers in your resume. I made a short about it. No numbers. This completely filled with hot dogs. And you know what I don't see? You are a full stack software developer. You have your diploma in web development. You have a bachelor's of applied science, which, you haven't even gotten this. Oh, great. Yeah, I even missed this. This is why. Wait, you've been a software? Oh, okay. Okay, I understand this. So you're a self-taught dev, that's fine. And you've been... Wait, are you? Okay, if you're a self-taught dev, which I imagine you are, Then you've had this as a team lead. This doesn't make any sense. Everything else was so wrong about this. I didn't even catch this because, like, this is confusing me. Why are you have a diploma and you've been a software engineering team lead since January when before you were an intern? This doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense at all. Because this would imply that you were a lead before you got... You need to make this timeline make sense. This entire resume needs to be deleted. I don't actually understand why you did this or where this is going. And this part alone throws me off. So you're going to need to delete this and start again. So that's all I can do for this resume because that threw me for a loop, and I don't know what you do. This is thoroughly confused me even more. But you know, don't do that. Don't confuse the person reviewing your resume. But if you want to, get your resume reviewed every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST on twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter and right here on YouTube, I review these resumes. Just stop on by and submit your resume then. And if I pick you, you will get your resume reviewed. And to my members who get access to videos a little bit early, thank you very much for your support. I appreciate that a lot. If anybody wants to join and get access to videos early, they can join down here. But yeah, thank you for your support. I am a small channel and I really appreciate it. But let's go to the next resume. This is an actuarial analyst. Actuaries make big bucks. They make a ton of money. At least in the US. I think the Canadian actuary market is a little bit different. Most people don't know what they do, but they're human math calculators. And the short answer to everybody watching is if you ever apply for insurance or healthcare and they give you a price based on all the data that you input, like your weight, your height, your area, the actuary is the person who makes that math on the back end. So these roles routinely go for over like 100K for the first 2, like after a year or two experience. So, but they're also brutal. They have to do a ton of testing. So that's what an actuary is, because it's a little known field that is always in demand. So, as long as you have 2 years of work experience, or at least 1 year. So what do we need for an actuary besides that they exist? We need to see your degree, the exams completed, that you've done modeling, data analysis, and analyzing large data sets, that you've solved problems with data, that you've used SQL, Power BI, Excel, and MS Office, that you can explain complex technical data to non-technical stakeholders. Shockingly, that you work as a team. This is very rare for me to put this for a non-intern role. But yeah, the fact is most of these people are uber math. Like, they know math more than anybody. And sometimes people that are super deep into a topic can be a jerk, and nobody wants to work with a jerk. So they want to make sure that you are not a jerk. So, and then the industry that you're working in, such as healthcare or insurance, or I don't know, as long as it's the industry, depends on the industry. So I would probably have more than 20 seconds to look at this, but I'm just going to give it 20 seconds anyway. And this person has a 1 in 25, which normally would be a very good ratio, but actuaries are so hot. They are so hot in the market that you getting a 1 in 25 as an actuary is probably closer to somebody getting a 1 in 150 to, no, I'm going to say 1 to 125. So this resume should be getting probably a 1 in 2 to a 1 in 5. That is how hot actuaries are. And I do see out of my corner of my eye, you have at least a year's experience and at least 2 tests passed. So you should be getting more interviews than a 1 in 25. So 20 seconds on the clock and go. Formatting's bad. Exams are good. You want this for actuaries. Produce workers' compensation reports for policyholders. Too broad. Extract and transform data sets. Again, you don't tell me the non-technical reason. Used RPA to automate tasks. Hot dogs. Improve efficiency by replacing... kind of bad. Reconcile actuary reports are actually by other team members. Time. Yeah, you have... This is how hot the actuary market is. Any other resume, this would not even get interviews, but for actuaries, they're so desperate for them that this will go through. So, what do you want to do? A, fix the formatting. right? Fix your format, and this is the previous resume. So fix your formatting to this. Keep the actuary exams. This is actually something that you should definitely do. So have another one here that is just saying exams, and then you'll write it just like the education, and then you'll put these because that is critical for an actuary specifically. And then these bullet points are bad, bro. Like, I really need to see that, well, all of this stuff, right? Like, I don't really see that you can explain complex technical data to non-technical stakeholders. I don't really see that you can work as a team. I do see SQL and Excel and Python, and it does say large data sets. The problem is you don't tell me the non-technical reason you did it. What was the point of extracting, transforming, and analyzing data sets? And then produce worker compensation reports for policyholders is not the same as explaining complex technical details to non-technical people. Now, you can say produced reports for policyholders that allow them to understand deeply technical issues in a non-technical manner to make decisions. So now, normally people say, well, Lee, why does it matter, right? Like, why does this person that is in a hot market matter? And the answer to that is the companies that are paying the tougher it is to get into them. So while this person is going to get a job, probably by the time this video releases, it may be that they're not getting as much salary, or they're not getting to choose the company they get to be in as much as they would have. So I would still recommend fixing this resume. I would recommend adding this stuff and making it better so that you're getting your pick of choices of the company instead of the company getting the pick you. Because an actuary with about a year's experience won't be able to pick all companies, but they should be able to pick more than a 1 in 25. And some of the companies that rejected you may have higher salaries or better work environments, and you want to have as many options as you can. So that is why I recommend this person to do it, even though they won't have a problem getting a job, but that is just how hot the actuary market is and the importance of a good resume. So next, resume. This is another full stack. This person, Max Musterman, which is the German equivalent of John Doe. I love John Doe and Jane Doe and other countries' versions of it, and Max Musterman is the German equivalent. This person said they have not applied with this resume, so we don't know how good or bad it is. The previous one was 1 to 75 out of 100 in Germany, which is not good. So remember, the 1 in 50 is a rule of thumb that is primarily applicable to the US and India just because of the population. But when you're going to other markets like Germany or Turkey or Egypt, the ratio is going to need to be better. Just because there's just not that many jobs available, right? Like Germany has, I'm just going to spitball this one. Don't take this as a fact, but like probably as many jobs as a mid-sized state in the US. Which definitely lowers the amount that you can apply to. So let's see what we can find about this resume. 20 seconds on the clock. I don't need to repeat what we have. It needs to be up there anyway. We already know it. And go. Okay. Ooh, good. Led the development of a depreciating applications front end using JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. Collaborating with UH on its internal guidelines and platform with user experience. It's okay. Implemented Java-based RESTful API, enabling user to manage through reported by Spring Boot prototyping. No. Applied DevOps by configuring Docker and CD using GitHub Actions, Jenkins, Hot Dog, and Time. This is not terrible, I think, but there's a couple of things we're missing. So one, TypeScript. You may not have actually had it here, right? But TypeScript is something I would definitely need. The second is I'd actually like you to mention SAS in the first bullet point. Working with a SAS can be a small bonus to some companies. So instead of led the redevelopment of appreciated applications front end, just say led the redevelopment of a SaaS, which is software as a services front end using JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. Collaborating with UX. See, my problem with this part is the first part is good, right? And this is a good description. So it's actually It's weird that the middle part isn't. The middle part is whoop, too much. So this part is good. Come on, Lee. There we go. This part is good. This part is good. The rest of this, I'm not sure I really care about. Like, yeah, UX UI could be a bonus, but it's kind of mostly a hot dog. So I'd really prefer you to put something else up there. Preferably the back end, because I can't actually see the back end at this job. So you could be like, led the redevelopment of an application using, and then the back end, so that way it shows both front end and back end to improve our users' experience is fine. Implemented Java based. There it is. Yeah. So this is what I would like you to do. I like you to say led the redevelopment of a. We don't need to say depreciated, right? We can just say redevelopment of a application using JavaScript, HTML, CSS, Java to improve user experience. And then here we can do RESTful. We used RESTful APIs, managed configuration, supported by Spring Boot. And then we need one more here. So again, I'd like you to move the Java up and then replace this with something else. Preferably, in fact, you might even be able to do this in 3 bullet points. Not saying four is bad, right? It just I think you might actually be able to shove this together in 3. So the first one can have this and Python, this and Java and REST APIs and Spring Boot, right? Like I think you can actually just kind of move this one up to here, and that would be just enough keywords to not go overboard. And then down here we can have the rest of this stuff, which is what we're looking for. And yeah, which I really like it. Although I would like to know, why was it important that you prototyped, debugged, and documented? I don't know. What is test consistency and build? So I really like your non-technical reason for the first one. I want you to have a better non-technical reason for this and this, and just combine these 2 bullet points together, and that should be perfect. I just mentioned SaaS. Like, led the development of a SaaS right up there, application using blah, blah, blah. So not bad. I just, again, I want to make it even better for you. And then you've got your degree in computer science. You don't need to say this. Like, if you have a master's, you have a BS. And you don't need to tell me when you graduated. You just need to put status graduated. So that'll save up some more space. Maybe you can add even another bullet point here if you have something else like, what do I have? Cloud. I am missing cloud. Or go in a little bit more about like the users of the product you could put down there. So overall good. Some slight improvements. Start applying. Next resume. This is a software engineer intern. And for almost every single type of intern, we need 4 things. That you're currently enrolled in college or a co-op. There's some states that do that. Those are rarer. A basic knowledge of whatever it is you're applying for. And I'm talking basic knowledge. The ability to work well with others. And that you can take direction and criticism. That is it. It's very, very, very rare for a non-intern resume to do the ability to work well with others, which is shocking to me why the actuarial one required that. But yeah, you need to show you can work well with others, take direction, criticism, and a basic knowledge of tech stack. So language, SQL, cloud, little bit of AI, object-oriented programming, probably RESTful APIs, that kind of stuff. So this person's ratio is unknown. I want to have a good resume before the 2027 internship season ramps up. All right, well, let's find out. Is it good or garbage? Will you be yeeted or deleted? Let's find out in 20 seconds. 20. Dang it. All right, there we go. 20 seconds. All right, and start. Formatting's awful. Rerouted the company C#.net. Okay. Off that legacy to modern systems by utilizing That's actually kind of okay. Queried the modified tables to this means nothing. Collaborate in an agile scrum and workflow. Good. Good. To run user stories, support functional testing, and technical documentation. I like that. Time. So this isn't like the worst resume ever. You need a little bit more tech. You need to show you can take direction, criticism, and you need a better formatting. So you definitely want to use this formatting, right? Please use this formatting. And then here, I want a little bit more. Like, do you have cloud, preferably? Maybe one or two AI tools. Don't overdo it, just that you've used them or have experience with like multi-agents or something like that. What else am I going to need for C#.net? RESTful APIs. Yeah, I think that one's there. SQL is good, right? But the problem is this sentence isn't a good sentence because querying and modified tables and procedures in MS SQL Server to synchronize contact data across systems, ensuring clean and reliable data throughout the migration. Too technical. This is way too technical. Yes, SQL is good, but it's still way too technical. And this is good. Don't say collaborated, though. Just say worked, right? Worked in an agile team, right? Because agile is a specific thing, or agile environment with the rest of the team. And then you can name them here, which I like to you do, that refine user stories and maintain technical documentation. But this only has two: agile and working together with others. So if you notice, this one has 1, 2, 3, right? Good. So this sentence is pretty solid. And then this one has only SQL, but it's written poorly, so it doesn't count. And then this one has 2, which is agile and working with others. I don't see take direction and criticism. I need one of these sentences to include takes direction and criticism, and I need you to write it with at least the second one with less technical stuff. The fact that you're asked to return is huge, actually. That's really, really big. But I still really want to see that you can take direction and criticism. It is just something that is inherently needed in software engineer interns. So you have one good sentence, one bad sentence, one mid sentence that can be a little bit better, and your formatting is a nightmare. I only got down to here, right? The reason I only got down to there is your formatting. So I want you to redo this one because that way we can like actually read the rest of them. Because if we cannot read it far down, we're going to have a bad time and then you're going to get rejected and then you're going to be like, that's not good. But the better the formatting, the further down we can read. So don't be a sad Sam over here. Just fix your formatting, fix your second bullet point, tweak your third one a little bit, and make sure to add direction and criticism, and you should be getting way more offers. Although, again, I don't want to say it's not a horrible resume, okay? Again, I'm not saying this is the worst resume ever. I'm just saying it can be improved, and I want to get you a 1 in 7. So, next resume. This is a resume of a full-stack software engineer. Now, we do not know their ratio for this. So, what do we need for full stack? We already know that, so I don't need to repeat this. So, let's find out if they have it. Is this a yeet or meet? 20 seconds on the clock. And go. Okay, built React, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Good. Module components, the user can review validation data. What is that? Why is that important? Integrated REST API with React.js to an AI chatbot. What kind? An internal dashboard helping users as validations. Okay, that one's solid. Leverage Google Gen SDK and Agentic to power language queries across 50. Doesn't matter. Okay, so formatting's bad. Bullet points are mid to bad. My big issue with this is I just don't have enough, and you focused on the wrong parts of AI. So your first sentence is okay. But again, I want to see the back end. I don't see the back end for this. I want to see a back end language. There is a specific reason I put Python, C#, .NET, and Java. Does it matter that you can do it in React or whatever? No, you want to put Python, C#, .NET, or Java for the US, preferably Python. It's not the biggest deal if you have C#, .NET, or Java, but Python has looked a little bit more favorably. And then again, what is validation data faster? Why does it matter that we had validation? And why does it matter that the number? I don't know. So this part doesn't really work. So I need a little bit more here, and I need you to explain the non-technical reasons. Integrated RESTful API with React.js. You already mentioned React.js above. So why are you mentioning it again? You want to have one keyword. The same keyword should not repeat in the same job. You can repeat React here and down here. Good, but don't repeat it in the same job. So there's not a point to having React here. So this doesn't count. And then I'll be perfectly honest. This is a good way to describe it of what you did and why you did it. I don't think people care that much about chatbots. Chatbots are not looked at very favorably, especially because down here you actually have SDK and agentic workflows. Like, that's actually shocking to me because I'm really weirded out that you put the AI chatbot above the SDK and the agentic. Like, that's a choice. So this should be here. This sentence should not exist, although you do need to put RESTful APIs somewhere. So I would try and put RESTful APIs over here if you can. Again, I'm not going to win any art awards. That's supposed to be REST. And then I need more here. And again, I don't care about 50K optimal metrics. That's not a non-technical reason. And again, this only has one keyword as well. This entire sentence only has one keyword, which is agentic, which is good. It's a good keyword, but I need more. And then here, Python should be up at the top. Your first sentence should say built a blank using Python, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, React.js, so business users could X and Y. And then your second one should be created, right? Created agents using Google Gen AI SDK and AI agentic workflows to X and Y and something else. And then this completely filled with hot dogs. Nobody cares about reducing false failures. No one cares about reducing deployment failures. CI/CD I care about, but not harness and OpenShift. So again, you have like 1.5 good bullet points spread out over 6 bullet points. And you've only been there for a year, bro. Like you have it, well, a little bit over a year. You know, it's June right now, so that's a little bit over. But I need to know more. And especially if you're going for this agentic stuff, they're going to want to learn like how many users you had monthly or daily or weekly. If it's not impressive, then don't put it. That's one of the few numbers you can have. But right now you have a first sentence that is okay, a second sentence that is bad, a third sentence that needs more, a fourth sentence that needs more but should be up at the top, a fifth sentence that is completely irrelevant, and a sixth sentence that has one thing that I'm looking for. Scrunch this down to 3. And then I just need more too, because like I don't see cloud and you need cloud. Like if you almost every job is asking for cloud. So this just does not have enough for like startups. It does not have enough for like more established companies. I just need more. I like, again, I found like 40% of this and I need 75 to move you forward. So that's all I could do for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. If you ever need more help, join the live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST on YouTube and right here on Twitch. That is where I review these resumes. And if you need to see my videos early or you want to support this channel, you can join below and become a member. I just want to thank all of my members. Thank you very much for your support. I really appreciate it. I am a small channel and your membership means a lot to me. So thank you. And I will see you all in the next video. Later.